Welcome to another episode of the Men on Form podcast. Coach Clive Maxheath here, my partner in personal development crime, Sir Micheal Hilton, fellow coach. What is the rumour over there, my friend?
What is the rumour? You ask me this every week, and I don't have a rumour to tell you. I'm going to start thinking up some rumours. I'll start spreading some rumours, my friend. How are you doing that end?
Yes, not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Looking forward to being here, man.
Yes, excited to get onto this one, and we've been debriefing a little bit before the pod, and something that's come up for us both recently. So this is very much a live topic, and it's something that a lot of us, particularly in this modern world, can most certainly relate to. The topic for this podcast is wanting more.
Wanting more, yeah. Yeah, it's a good topic, man. It's something that we've both, like you said, we were talking before, we've both been experiencing, both been going through it. So I'm looking forward to jumping in this, man, and sharing our experience with it. That's the most important thing, right?
Definitely, yeah. Be cool to share some personal experiences as well as some just more sort of like generic points about this particular element of our psychology. So let's get kick started. If I say to you like wanting more, desiring more, what comes up for you, Micheal?
What comes up for me? I definitely think. I don't think. I know we are very much goal, especially guys, very goal orientated. You know, I think we are very goal orientated in the sense that we like to achieve stuff, right? It's funny. I was having a conversation with a guy this morning about gaming addiction. Someone that put something on Facebook about going on TV, talk about gaming addiction, and I had a gaming addiction at the time, and we was talking this morning about it. And he was asking me some questions, and I said, look, one of the things that, like for example, one of the things that computer gaming addiction does very well is it gives you that sense of reward, right? You know, a lot of these games, these online games where you pay for extra money, or you pay for extra gold, or you pay to unlock certain things. And what the gaming thing does is works very well on the brain of giving you that reward, giving you that achievement, that sense of achievement. But then what you're left with is you want the next achievement, and you want the next achievement. And that's okay. Like we've said this before. And I think with this is that distinction between wanting more, like I want more in my life, you want more in your life, versus needing more. And when the want becomes a need, that's when we start having struggles. That's when we start, nothing's ever enough. And that's when things start getting difficult. And this is what I was saying to this guy with like gaming. One of the things that the gaming industry does very well to work on the psychology of people is work on that part of achievement, sense of achievement. And then there's the next thing. Then there's the next thing. If you look at, like, just for example, if you look at computer games these days, it's kind of, you know, I'm just giving this analogy. All the games are kind of built to really not have endings to them. They're like online platforms. And if you play this amount of time, you get this, a goal, achievement. Oh, now I need that next thing because so-and-so's got that. And then you play even longer. So, you know, that's kind of how I see it, my friend. That's how I kind of see this when it shifts from a want to a need, man.
There's definitely something in the language there. You're right. And then that idea of needing suddenly sort of, and for me, even that just brings up like an anxiety or something, I'm just clutching my fingers together, like I need that. And it can then become very dark and potentially unhealthy. The thing for me, I mean, we'll definitely come back to that, I'm sure, at some stage. But I was just sort of thinking as you were talking there, as well as listening, of course, Micheal. And
you're never listening. You've always got your headphones on when you're talking.
I'm multitasking, mate. Trained soldier.
Yeah.
So, is if we're wanting more, what is the other side of wanting more? Is not enough. And so. If I'm saying I want more, I'm saying at the moment where I'm at is not enough, and that's very potentially I'm not enough, and that's very different to saying, but instead reframing and saying I'm enough and I want maybe not more but better, or I would like to I would like to improve in this area. And again, it's a bit of a language reframe, but I think maybe by sometimes saying we want more, we're actually acknowledging that we're not enough. And then by coming from that place of we're not enough, and then it's plays back into what we talked about before, it's like I'm not enough, so I need something to then be enough. And again, personal experience. I've definitely had that. I've definitely had that.
I think I love that, man. I think you hit the nail on the head there, dude. That was brilliant. It's like it's a shift in mindset and language sometimes. So like when people say, "Oh, I want more," like they're trying to require more stuff because they don't feel enough, right? It's like I'm not good enough, or it's not enough, right? Now, sometimes, Clive, that is true. If someone's behaviour, let's say, it doesn't mean they're not enough, the person, but if their behaviour, let's say you're married and you're cheating on your wife, because this is something that we deal with, like cheating on their wife, and like, I just don't feel I'm not enough. I'm not enough in my relationship. Well, that could be true, right? So what are you going to do to shift that and change that? But it's getting that distinction between it's not enough, right? What I'm doing is not good enough versus I'm not enough, right? And
Right.
then
Okay.
when it comes to this, I'm trying to get this so it makes sense. It's like it's not good enough versus I'm not enough. So a lot of people, like when they start a new career, this would be a better analogy than the one I just give. Someone's going to start something new. What if I'm not good enough to do it? Well, there's a chances are that you might not have the skill set, mindset, and the tools to be good enough at the moment, but you can improve on that. But that doesn't mean you're not good enough as a human being to do it. It just means you might not be good enough in your skill set, mindset, and that to do it. So, that's going to require you doing a little bit more and being a little bit more as a human being, and that's okay as well, So I think it's that distinction there, Clive. What you was kind of saying is sometimes we get mixed up in that, I need this because I'm not good enough. No, it's not that you're not good enough. You just might need to improve in certain areas of your life,
Yeah, and by saying I am not good enough, you're saying you holistically. And there's a difference between one saying I am not good enough, or one saying I'm not good enough at the moment at washing the dishes up, for example, or empty the dishwasher when I should. Bringing some personal touches to it, and that's different because that's something that is a truth, but that's not the whole of me. I am good enough in this particular area, that particular area, and what I'm doing at the moment for me. So it's very, there's a very clear distinction between that, and I think there's a difference between not being good enough or not feeling that you're good enough in a particular area, and then actually that then becoming you're just not good enough generally.
Yes,
everyone is good enough in different areas at different times. We've all got our special skills, man. We've all got our superpowers. So.
It's funny because we tend to look at what we're not good enough at instead of looking at some of the things we are good at, right? And that could be a useful tool. It's like list down some stuff that you are good enough at.
Yes.
List down some stuff that you are good at, because that just shifts your focus a little bit. Because it's very easy, to look at. And it's kind of I'm not one of these people that blame society or blame social media, because it's our own personal responsibility. But what you got to understand is it's all set up to kind of make you it's all set up to kind of, it doesn't make you feel anything because that comes from yourself, but it is there to kind of say, well, keep up with the Joneses, get the brand new car, get the brand new house, get this, get that, and then people slip into that kind of on Instagram and things like that, looking at people, oh, it's not enough, I need more, and then they require this more, and then that's not enough, and they need more and more and more, and it just becomes this I always say it's
self-perpetuating kind of like a loop.
Yeah, it's just like filling this void. I always said it when I was in recovery. So I always felt like I was trying to fill this empty hole, and it never full up. It was just like this void in my life, and you can't, buying a new car is great. I'm all for that, buying a new car. But, you can have a Lamborghini and be fucking happy, or you could have a Lamborghini to try and fix your unhappiness in life. And and then get pissed off because you got to make the payments on it and drive it around miserable. You know, it's just like
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
we society
The
very much.
relationship to it.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's about it's about building. It's about working on yourself first, man. You know, for me, it's about working on yourself first, man. Because, like you've said before, Clive, and it's always stuck in my mind. If you don't know what's enough, the answer is usually more. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. That is um, definitely something that I've experienced personally, particularly earlier when I was in my 20s with money. I
Mm,
just always wanted more. I remember there was I had this I think it was like something like £2 grand a month I wanted to clear. And I just thought, if I could just get that, you know what, Michael, if I could just get that £2 grand a month in my pay in my account a month, that'd be it.
mm,
I'd have enough for this. I'd be sweet. And I got my £2 grand, and I remember it was like that. I remember that day came out. I was like, yeah, like, got it. And then I literally like a day or two later, I was like, do you know what would really, like two, like just like two, like it's just like, yeah, and yeah, just again, yeah, just sort of like that sort of self-perpetuating. And because I hadn't really worked out, I just pulled that figure out of thin air. I hadn't worked out what was enough. I didn't know
mm,
what it's like. This is boundaries. This is what is enough, and I hadn't really worked that out. And when I actually took the time to actually work out what was enough, I had enough, and I had to actually do the maths first
mm.
of all. But until then, I was just literally always on the more.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Ways, yeah, just
And
and so,
it's
yeah, it's definitely, and it's a very personal piece, because what will
yeah,
be enough for one person will be, you know
not
won't be
enough.
for another, vice versa. As I say, there's so much that comes into this social, political, God, all sorts of stuff. It's loaded, but when you've got those boundaries set, then
Yeah, and I think it comes as well, like what you said there. It is very much about if you've got someone that really deep down values their family, but they go against their values because society tells them they need to make more, and they're out there hustling and grinding and neglecting their family, then they're going to suffer from that, right?
Mhm.
I need more money, we need more holidays, we need more this, but they're actually going on holiday, because they're just not spending much time with their family. They're going to suffer. Now, if you're someone that doesn't really give a shit about your family and your kids, and your vision and your purpose in life is just to make as much money as possible, you're going to find that very, very easy. And this is kind of like a culture that's kind of been built, especially like online, where you've got guys that live that way, that they just hustle, grind, want cars, want money and all that. And there's nothing wrong with that, and don't really give a shit about their family, or they don't have a family. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got the guy like that gives a shit about his family, and his highest values is being with his family and all that, can still produce a very nice life for them, but they slip into that trap of thinking, I need to do that to give my family this. And in matter of fact, what they're doing is it's just detrimental to their life, because they're doing something that's not within their highest values for that. And it's just constantly come to this place of more. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, and I think one thing, and this was something that was shared a few years ago, and it always come back to me, is this idea that emotions are 5 times more powerful than logic.
mm,
So even sometimes when I logically know that I don't need more, my emotion is so charged up for wanting more. I see the advert, or I see like something going on. Jackets. I've got this thing about jackets, Michael. Like,
mm.
I love jackets. Like, if I just get that
My
jacket,
wife,
mate. Do you know,
my wife loves coats.
if I
Yeah.
just get that jacket, and my wife will tell you, if I get that jacket, I will have it. Like, that jacket on me is me there, done. And I'll get it, and I'll wear it for a few days, and I'll love it. And then like next week, I'll be, do you know what? There's another jacket over there. And like, do you know what? Yeah, look at that. Like, and
Well,
so
go on. Sorry,
it's,
mate. Go on. I got a funny story. I got a funny story
oh,
about
well,
that.
we'll
Yeah,
come to
go
the
on.
funny story. But what I'm saying is, because because my emotions have overridden my logic, and it isn't until I sense check myself and I actually power down, take some space, and then logically actually think to myself, do you know what, Clive, this is ridiculous. So
Mm.
stop, put the jacket down. We'll get another jacket a bit further down the line, but you bought one last week, so calm it,
my,
enjoy it.
my, mine
You
was
have
on when I was
enough.
on building sites. Mine was on building sites was buckets. I had a thing with these, like where we used to do rendering. The rendering used to come in these buckets, right? So there was a guy there who always used to try and clean the buckets out and keep them all for himself, and and it drove me mad. And all of a sudden, I've got this weird obsession with buckets, right? So I'd go around site, fucking looking for buckets to clean them out and take them home. I had a shed full up with just buckets, all different kinds of buckets, like what the render come in, and there was just never enough. It was just always constantly opening the shed door, adding another one. Yeah, it's a nice bucket, that one. I love that.
Bucket collection.
Yeah, just collect these buckets. And I think partly of that was driven by, well, he's getting them, so I want them, right?
Yeah, okay.
So straight there, he was driven by that.
Yeah.
And then it become this obsession of like, oh, that's a nice bucket. That looks nice. I'll have that one. I put that in my collection. And it was like, all of a sudden, like this bucket-fueled drive was just never enough. Until one day I just sitting there, I was like, what is going on for me? Like, has my life become this like this lack of meaning that I just need to fill this void with buckets? So like that, and there's the thing, Clive, there's a lesson in that, right? Is it doesn't really matter what it is, right?
No,
you
no,
it
can be anything. It can be anything.
People go, what? I don't get it. Your obsession with, with Pikachu or teddies, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But it's individual to the person, and that void that they're trying to fill, man. It doesn't matter what it is.
In terms of sort of the particularly the Western modern world we're living in. The Eastern's very modern these days, so I don't know that has much to do with it. But like the sort of things we're exposed to, and you touched on it. I spend every podcast I mention social media. I think it is, but it's possibly a real thing of mine, man. Like having stuff constantly projected onto us about that could potentially lead us down the wanting more thing. So there was some statistic about how many adverts directly and indirectly we consume a day, and it was hundreds, mate. It was ridiculous. And I'm thinking, I haven't looked at the TV this morning, but what do? First thing I do, sort of, not first thing. When I'm giving Jackie's breakfast in the morning, I'll pop a bit of TalkSport on to catch up for the day, and I like it. I really enjoy it. It's sort of like a bit of news and a bit of sport. That's perfect for me. But then in between what's going on, I'm getting pitched to. There's these power tools that I might need, and there's the car I might need, and then there's the pet that I want to and it's again all that soft touch indirectly, and YouTube, like it's free, isn't it? But then you get the adverts, and you just it's just so much stuff. You get out in your car, you drive, you've got billboards, you've got magazines, you've got all over the internet, the dark arts. It's quite hard. Let's just say, in my experience, it's very easy for me to slip into wanting more because I'm constantly being projected with stuff.
Yep.
Potentially, that's gonna. It's like they're fishing, isn't it? There's hooks with little baits on everywhere, and then clickbait is what it's called, isn't it, online?
Clickbait. Yeah.
What chance? With emotions being 5 times more powerful than the logic, and us getting pitched to hundreds of times a day, what chance have we got? Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's funny. Have you noticed this? I noticed this recently, and it's kind of one of the reasons why I don't have a problem with stuff being like, I do marketing. I don't have a problem with marketing, but is it genuine, or is it going to help someone? Do you know what I mean? That's the thing, right? And I think nowadays there's just so much stuff. It's just so overwhelming and confusing. It does get overwhelming and confusing, but I think if it's genuine and it's going to help someone and it interests them, that's not a problem. I just think people are falling into this kind of sleeping state where they don't know actually what they want. So they just more and more and more. But, coming back to that, what you said about TalkSport, have you noticed that recently? It's kind of, I don't listen to it as much now because there seems like there's an advert every minute on there.
Yeah,
right?
there is quite a bit on there. Yeah, they do hammer the...
power tools
adverts on there. It seems to go on for quite a while, and then each segment's sponsored by
and it seems like there's more and more of it. I've noticed that, like, years and years and years ago, I used to listen to it, there was adverts on there, but there was a lot more talking and I think, but I've seen recently, I'm like, man, it just seems like every minute there's an advert, and you're like, you're not getting to listen to too much of the radio now. But that's, like you say, clickbait. That's that's how it is, man.
Okay, yeah, it's there. I mean, and is there any, like, talking on this? Is there any personal experiences or any particular? We've touched on some there, but any really prevalent ones where where it's gone to to the negative, and maybe one to the positive for you personally with
I would say
this?
a negative, definitely in the personal development space, Clive. Definitely. There
Yeah,
was a period of time where, that next course, that next course, and it was going to fill this void. I definitely would say in the personal development, I would say that
yeah,
it was
okay,
never enough. Like, obviously, I had my gambling problems and my gaming addictions and drinking drugs, and it was never enough. It was always more, 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 more. It didn't matter when I was gambling, if I won £1,000 on the roulette machine. It was never enough. I always wanted £1,200, and then I'd end up losing it all. Right.
yeah.
So there's that. But I would say over the years recently would be personal development. I would say that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah. It's
that.
the dark side of
Yeah.
personal
Yeah.
development, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is I got balls deep in that, man, and kind of got a little bit lost in it. It's always the next thing, always the next thing. Instead of finding something and focusing on it and giving all my time and energy, there's always something new and always something more. But again, when you really look back at it, and I've been doing a lot of studying and reading around Stoicism and Marcus Aurelius and all that kind of stuff, our psychology hasn't changed at all, really. A lot
no,
of stuff's
in the
changed,
last two
but
hundred thousand years.
yeah, that's one thing that's not changed. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think you can constantly chase the new hack and all things like that. But at the end of the day, everything I use in my practice, to use on myself and other guys, it's just a simple stuff, Clive, man.
The
So
fundamentals. Yeah,
yeah. How about
I'll
yourself?
I'll
What would you
jump on
say?
that as well, and I'll say, and this is, this is, we're coaches. This is what we do. But I think I definitely, earlier in my life and career, went unhealthily down the coaching, personal development route.
Mm,
So I've got a mantra around coaching. Coaching's for some of the time, not all of the time.
mm-hmm,
In my opinion, coaching, if you're wanting to evoke change and transformate some kind of transformation, or you're going through change and some
mm,
kind of transformation, then coaching's brilliant. That is the service for you, particularly with a future focus.
mm-hmm,
If there's something in the past, like that you want to process, that I want to process, that maybe is holding me back, maybe some kind of deep lying psychological experience or something that's preventing me from showing up in the present and the future, then that's counselling. So that for me would be a men's group or singing counsellor. Then there's time for the beach and cocktails, and that's the time for I'm not goal setting, I'm not processing anything from the past, I'm not emptying the emotional backpack, I'm not putting anything in, I'm throwing a backpack off and going for cocktails, and chilling. And so that there's those different spaces. But so what I did in particular in the late 20s, early 30s, is I went hard on coaching all the time. I was constantly goal setting, going after things, wanting more. And sometimes it was healthy and sometimes it was unhealthy, definitely. And I'd find myself achieving something, and feeling absolutely nothing, off the back of it, like no feelings of success or joy or anything, because I was filling a void. Do it the next day, I was like, right, what next? I had that experience. I think it was one particular experience at work. I've been going after this presentation that I really wanted to do and really wanted to get this done. And I hadn't sense checked it. I hadn't logically thought about it. And I put so much time and energy into doing this thing. And then when I done it, immediately afterwards, I felt like shit. It's like,
Why did you feel like shit after it, man?
I was out because it was all about wanting more. I
Uh,
wanted more. I wanted more
Recognition. Yeah,
recognition.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was just
That's
all.
never a good place. That's never a good place to want more of, is it? Really?
It was all ego driven, mate. It was
Yeah,
all
yeah.
ego, and I have to keep my ego in check. I watched Top Gun on repeat from the age of about 5, so I'm all ego. So I'm constantly right. I'm constantly writing checks my body can't cash. But it's, it was bad, and so yeah, it's only in the last, I'd say, 3-4 years that I've really kind of work through that. work and understood, no, actually it's time for me to power down. It's time for me to maybe do a little bit of work, more from a counselling side, or time for me to just unplug, just get out of Dodge and just get some headspace. So that's
Yeah.
kind of it's for me.
Again, like just touch on this with the personal development thing as well. It comes back to this. A lot of people get into personal development because they feel like they really need that I've got to change my life. I've got to change my life. And
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't come from that place that I want to change my life. And when you've got to change your life, you'll look around for some magic pill. I say to the guys, this isn't for people that have got. It's look, there's certain elements of I've got to change my life. But if when the need becomes I've got to, have to I want to, I must. That's when you can kind of take it a little bit more seriously, man. And and it's the same sort of thing. If you've got to, and again, the personal development industry plays well on that as well. You're never enough. You need more. You need more. You need more. And when you get to that point, is I want to change. I'm committed to this. Then then you don't need all that stuff because you can't use it all anyway, man. So
you don't. And I mean, it seems to be a lot of the American success stuff. It's always 10 times. Like, you don't
10x.
just need more. You need to 10x, brother.
Yeah,
Like, we need
10x.
to 10x this motherfucker.
And it works, because it works well, doesn't it? It works well on 10x your sex life, 10x your money. Your sex life, 10x your money. That sells, man. It sells.
Oh my god! Right, man. We're doing a one podcast today. No, we're not, Michael. We're doing 10. We're gonna 10x this bitch.
Yeah,
we're gonna 10x this mofo.
People want to fuck more, and people want more money. That's what people want, man.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Why do you think that guy's so popular on Instagram? I can't remember his name now. The guy that just he's a millionaire, right? And he just has 10, he never has a girlfriend, but he has 10 models with him all the time. He just has sex with them when he wants to. I can't remember his name now. Dan something. He's just he's on Instagram. He's got a massive following because everyone's like, I want that. He's got the money.
I want that.
Women. Yeah, I want that.
Man. I'm 10xing. The next podcast is going to be called 10X. How to 10x your life.
Right. Yeah. And I'm all about let's 1% it each day.
I like the 1%. I'm more the 1% because 1% gives me time to watch an episode of Netflix, chill out a bit, maybe do some training, have some fun, and improve. So
yeah, definitely family time, man. I've said this before. I would like my business to be further down the road. I don't need it to be. I would like it to be.
Likewise.
I'm not neglecting my time with my wife and my kids because I'll tell you something, Clive. I could very easily do that.
Yep.
Very easily do that because I've got a drive to do this. And I have to kind of reel it in a little bit, man. It just popped clever with this,
Likewise, I'm exactly the same.
Yeah.
But listeners, if you do want to 10x your life, me and Mike will send you a PayPal link to an account. Transfer 10 grand.
Yeah.
We'll send you the information, and you can 10x. And then you can have 10 models, you can have 10 cars.
Yeah.
The mansion and
not that we've achieved that yet, but we'll teach you how to do it.
We'll teach you how to do it. We haven't achieved it yet.
And that's what you got to remember as well, man. Like with a lot of this stuff, right? This is maybe digressing a little bit, Clive, but just be very, it's very easy to follow so many people, listen to so many people, and a lot of these people, I shared this before, like when I was working with a coach, he was single. And it was all about hustle, grind, more money, hustle, grind, more money. And I was like, yeah, hustle, grind, more money. I had a wife and kids sitting indoors that barely see me because I was following someone else's model that done nothing but work every single day, 7 days a week, all the hours under the sun. And I started modeling that. Is that his fault? No, that's my fucking fault for doing that, right? So that's why I say to people, be careful with what it is you want. Do you want to achieve stuff in your life? That's great. For me now, as I look at guys that have got families, they're very active in their families' lives, but they're still winning and achieving stuff. That's the people I follow. Are they as rich as these single guys or these guys that just got a girlfriend and got millions and million pounds? No, they're still living good lives. Do you know what I mean? Still achieving stuff. So, that would be my parting words for this, what we've talked about there, and just kind of just echoing what you said before. If you don't know what is enough, the answer is usually more. When the need becomes a must, I must have this car, I must have this money, then that becomes a problem as well, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just bottom line that. I think that the three things there is yeah, it's personal.
Hmm.
So yeah, watch comparing to other people, because like you say, the single guy who hasn't got maybe a wife and kid and other responsibilities, might be doing something that you can't. If you model that, you cannot be able to do it. You've touched on the language. We've touched on the language piece. That's part of it. Watch for the language, and then yeah, the final one is the boundaries. What is enough, and spending time actually thinking, well, what is enough, and then you might actually find, or I might actually find that I've actually got enough, and actually I don't, and the decision might be I don't want more actually there, because I want to put more here, and it just gives you options, and that's something that that a coach can help with. And leading on to that,
Yes.
and coming to the end of coming towards the end of the show. I mean, obviously, if guys want to 10x their lives, they can go and follow Mr. Big on Instagram. But if they want a 1 or 2%, if they want to sort of maybe take on a little bit of a bigger wave, in the using the surfing analogy, just a little bit bigger, not too big.
Yeah.
Where can I find out about your stuff, Michael? Your
Uh,
services?
Facebook. I'm mainly active on my Facebook page. I'm not really on my profile. People add me as friends on there, but I don't really go on my personal. I'm mainly on my page, just where I post. So that's I am Micheal Hilton on Facebook. I think it's / I am Micheal Hilton. Instagram, you can find me on Instagram, or send me an email at michael@michaelhilton.com. I have got like a web page, www.michaelhilton.com. But again, you're probably better off on the Facebook page, or send me an email. That'd be the best. What about yourself, Clive? Where can people? What you got going on? Where can people get in touch with you, man?
Yeah, I'm over at www.mensactionproject.com. The map is mensactionproject.com, and all my information's on there. You can contact me through the site, find out details about. I offer a complimentary 45-minute coaching taster session as part of my service. So if you want to try before you invest, with me and have an experience of my coaching, then that's the place to find me. I'm also on all the other sort of mainstream social media touch points, so Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. You can DM me through there and link in with me there. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment, Michael.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So they know where to get hold of us, man, if they want to 10x their lives.
Not 10x, mate. Not
Oh,
with me,
sorry,
brother.
sorry. Yeah, 10x. Sorry.
Yeah.
And again,
If you want a
listen.
0.1% your life, then
Yeah,
yeah, I'm your
yeah,
man.
0.2. And again,
If
if
you
you
want
want
to,
to
if you
10x
want
your
to,
life, there's nothing wrong with that. You want to go and 10x your life, that's absolutely fine. There's
yeah.
people out there that do that, man. That's fine, That's
If
absolutely fine,
if you want to shift from a 1.4 to a 1.6,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
your
your
man.
guy.
Yes.
That shit doesn't sell though, Clive.
Because it's not pitching for wanting more. It's not sexy. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
to
it.
bottom line, success isn't sexy in the main.
Yeah,
95% of success work is incredibly unsexy in my
yeah,
experience. So
it is,
Riley,
man.
it's
It is.
messy and pretty shitty a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But that's not what hits the front shelf. So um,
Everyone wants to run a marathon until they have to get out and do the work and run in the pissing down rain and the fucking storm and the snow and the shit and all that. And it's like, well, this isn't what I signed up for, right? You know,
this isn't
everyone,
10x in.
yeah, people want to build the business, and then like, uh, just a few. Like, could I share this story quickly? We've got a
Go
couple of
on,
minutes,
mate. Let's get
right?
you're sneaking one in at the end.
Okay,
You're ruining the men on form agenda, but we can
right.
sneak one in, mate.
So I had someone reach out to me. Said they wanted to get into the coaching space, right? So I'm cool, great, that's fantastic. Why do you want to get into it? I want to help this person, help that person. So we got on the call, and I was talking to him, and I was like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. And there was just this. I had this sense that they were being a little bit. They were dodging the bullet a little bit. They weren't being so. They were being a little bit disingenuous. And I said to him, look, like, let me ask you a question now. I said, if someone came up to you now and said, here's £1 million, right? We're going to give you £1 million. If I give you this £1 million, you will never, ever, ever be able to coach again. What would you? I'll take £1 million. They said it before I even finished the thing. I said, right. I said, okay, cool. I said, it would be appealing to most people to do that. So why do you really want to get into coaching? And of course they want to help people, but they said, look, to be honest with you, I look at yourself, I look at other coaches, and it just seems a very easy life and an easy way to make money, right? And I said, it's funny. I said, because everything looks easy until you fucking get into it, right?
Oh, mate.
Right? And I'll tell you now, if you want to make money in the next 3 years, probably 2 years, 3 years, coaching isn't what you want to get into, because you're going to be spending a lot of time broke and not making any money. And people kind of, there's that saying, isn't there, Clive? You know, most of everyone, like when I started doing this, everyone's kind of like, what? Why are you doing that? What are you going on about, taking the piss out of you? And then all of a sudden the what becomes, how are you doing this? What, you know, tell me a little bit more after a few years. And that's what happens. And you know, it's just very, things always look easy on the outside, mate, you know? So I just really drop that in there.
Fair enough, mate. No, nice share at the end. The cherry on the cake there, Michael, at the end there.
No, you're welcome, mate. You're welcome. Always like to drop my cherry.
There you go. Well, let's drop the end of this episode. Let's drop the end of this episode, lads. Yeah, let's. I've lost it.
Get your mind out the gutter, Clive.
I'm too busy on the 10. I'm on. My ego's gone in on the 10x vibe, man.
Can't stop.
I can't stop. Yeah. God. Anyway, it's Gemini, mate. Air sign. It's I'm up there, mate. I've got to come down. I've got to land. Right, let's land this motherfucker.
Right.
With one final thing to say, and that is, gentlemen and ladies out there, if you're off form,
get back on form.
And if you're on form,
stay on form.
Do and be well all.
Donny the douche.
10x. If you enjoyed the show, we invite you to leave a positive review on the platform you're listening on. If you'd like to get in contact with us regarding anything that came up in the episode, you can email us directly at menonform@gmail.com.